Today's conversation is on putting off the former conversation, no pun intended, which is not you really thinking anyways. You really thinking is thinking from the sure foundation that I am fulfilled. So if you think that you are not fulfilled, then think again. Because that is not you really thinking. That is not you really thinking for yourself. That kind of thinking belongs to what the Bible refers to as the old man, who thinks in terms of lack of fulfillment, who has, let's say, an inharmonious relationship with God, which is the source of fulfillment. The source of fulfillment. Everything arises from the source of fulfillment, as in you are whole, complete, have everything, and need nothing. The old man thinks otherwise, thinks in terms of separation from being fulfilled, which is not real. So that's what I mean by the old man is not really thinking. Or we could say thoughts that belong to the old man do not represent reality. Reality being fulfillment. It does not represent reality. Thoughts that represent reality are from the premise of fulfillment, the premise of already having what you desire, already being who you desire to be. Why it is helpful to put off the former conversations is consider this. The illusory appearances are the result of identification to illusions of separation-based thinking. As the thinking is no longer identified with, the illusory thinking that is not from the sure foundation, it is from, let's say, a limiting foundation. We could say limiting belief. It simply plays out as confirmation bias of the limiting belief so that the individual can release it. Those illusory appearances appear to disappear as the individual does not identify with the thinking that belongs to the old man. So the old man, we could say, is not the real self. You are the real self. You are complete. I don't imagine you to be any other way. If any illusion seems to suggest that you are not complete, whole, have everything, fulfilled now, then it's not real. It appears to disappear, to reveal the reality of God, which is fulfillment. Fulfillment is the reality of God. I am fulfilled. So to experience fulfillment, we could say, we simply put off the former conversation because we know that by thinking in terms of separation, in other words, like I say, anything you desire that you have, anything you desire that you are, that is it. Put off the former conversations means any thoughts that seem to suggest otherwise, that you are not fulfilled, which is clearly illusory. The fact that you exist is fulfillment. Not because of this or that appearance, not because of this or that experience. You can experience your fulfillment with an appearance, certainly. For example, I snowboard. I'm actually going to be up north snowboarding this weekend when I'm releasing this video. I experience fulfillment while I snowboard. Is it because of snowboarding? Well, a person may think that. The person, let's say, the old man, thinks that a person needs to do this or that in order to experience fulfillment. Where do you experience fulfillment other than within? You may relate to the experience in a way where you say it is a fulfilling experience. It reveals your fulfillment, in other words. But let's say a person, based on confirmation bias, which is a belief in mind, does not, let's say, have, for example, if there was no snow up north this weekend, does that mean that I lack fulfillment? If I think I lack fulfillment, which is not me really thinking, that's identification to the old man, then I experience an illusion of separation or an illusion of suffering. How so? Well, I may sit at home and say, I would really like for it to snow, because if it snows, then I can go snowboarding and then I could be fulfilled. And no shame and condemnation. We clearly see that that is an illusion. I am fulfilled for no reason at all. I found my fulfillment in the form of desire. That's what I mean by desire means having. If the person thinks that desire means suffering, then maybe they go snowboarding and they're never satisfied. They're always seeking externally for fulfillment. Yet, when they accept desire as fulfillment, you found it in the form of desire, then you experience fulfillment here, fulfillment there, fulfillment when you snowboard. And after the snowboarding session, you experience fulfillment, because the fulfillment is not conditional. See, the old man conditions consciousness to appear as illusory experiences, and by putting off the former conversations, which, let's say, are thoughts that suggest it needs to be this way or that way to experience fulfillment, which is an illusion. By simply putting off those former conversations, fulfillment experience, we could say, manifests as appearances of fulfillment. So, for example, for me, snowboarding, wonderful life experiences, this particular conversation here, wonderful harmonious relationships, everything that I truly desire, we could say desires of the heart, manifest naturally, automatically, by simply putting off the former conversation. So how do we practically do it? Well, it's the simple acknowledgement that you are fulfilled, that existence is fulfillment. The fact that you exist is fulfillment. Not because, we could say, of a particular appearance, whether you have a lot of money in the bank account, or you have this relationship, or this kind of life experience. Those are what the person conditions in mind to suggest that those are fulfilling experiences. And if those appearances or experiences are not there, then they lack fulfillment, which again is an illusion. Certainly you can enjoy those experiences, you can experience fulfillment with those experiences, yet your fulfillment is not conditioned, truly not conditioned by those experiences, by those appearances. Only the old man conditions consciousness by suggesting that it needs to be this way or that way. If it's this way, then fulfillment. If it's that way, then fulfillment. And if it's any other way, then not fulfillment. Now, the old man, let's say, thinks in terms of fear-based beliefs and thinks that if the old man removes these conditions, which are illusory, then the old man, let's say, cannot experience fulfillment. Well, the old man is not real to begin with. As those illusory beliefs are released by simply putting off the former conversation, and we'll go into a practical example shortly, I trust you notice this, that you legitimately, honestly, and genuinely experience fulfillment wherever you are. And practically speaking, you enjoy what you truly desire to enjoy. You do what you love to do. the real self, as you know you are fulfilled, manifests as fulfilling experiences, fulfilling appearances. Practically speaking, fulfilling relationships, fulfilling business, fulfilling art, creative expression, fulfilling life experiences. These are what I refer to as symbols of fulfillment, or symbols of love, symbols of happiness, symbols of bliss, symbols of fulfillment. And there's no conditioning in mind, because as I mentioned with the snowboarding example, if I go snowboarding, I experience my fulfillment with snowboarding. After snowboarding, we go out for dinner. I experience my fulfillment enjoying dinner. I go home prior to going to sleep. I experience my fulfillment prior to going to sleep. And if, let's say, the snowboarding trip was canceled for whatever the reason may be, I am still fulfilled. Practically speaking, what I've noticed is there have been times where, let's say, it didn't go this way. I ended up doing a thing which, to me, I said, you know what? This is even more fulfilling than that. This is even more fulfilling than that. I allowed space for fulfillment to appear because I did not condition consciousness with a limitation. This is why it's very precise. Put off the former conversation, which belongs to the unreal self. You are the real self. The former conversations, the thoughts of limitation, the need to condition this or that belongs to the old man, because the old man thinks, we could say, that by controlling something, by placing conditions on things unnecessarily, then the old man can experience fulfillment, which is an illusion. You can see clearly it's illusory. You are not the old man. And any appearances, as I mentioned, that seem to suggest that you are the old man, also I found to be illusory and appear to disappear, to reveal the reality of God, as we discussed recently. Always in love with God, as there is only God, as symbols appearing, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, everything that I desire. So, for example, I'm going to pull up the Robert Dilts logical levels. On the top, there you exist beyond limitation. The true self, beyond limitations. The true identity, not conditioned by beliefs in mind. You may have a desire that arises to imagine yourself to be the person that you desire to be, to have the kind of experiences that you desire to have. And so you simply accept yourself. I am that which I desire, as I am fulfilled. I am that which I desire to be. I am. Now, what appears is, let's say, a journey to actualizing the vision with respect to, let's use entrepreneurship as an example. So I teach this to entrepreneurs. I get into the nuances in my 5 programs, and I also created a group coaching and mastermind service called Flow-Based Prosperity to articulate and facilitate exactly what is going on as the individual releases identification to old man thinking, which results in a flow-based journey, as I say, a blissful journey to manifesting the bliss. I am fulfilled. So a fulfilling journey to the materialization of that fulfillment that you imagine yourself to already have. You imagine yourself to be. You simply accepted yourself, we could say, as fulfillment. You are fulfilled for no reason at all. Yet you chose to experience your fulfillment in imagination. I am that which I desire to be. If you're interested in flow-based prosperity or my 5 programs, I'll link in the description to them. So what happens is immediate bliss, immediate fulfillment by accepting yourself. accepting that symbol as yours. I imagine myself having what I desire. That's the vision on the top. Now, everything in this world appears to be in harmony with you. Illusions appear to disappear to reveal the perfect reality of God. All of this other layers here shifts automatically. The identity shifts. The values and beliefs shift. The capabilities shift. The behaviors shift. The environments shift. Literally, the environments, people, environment, circumstance, information appears to shift. Capabilities, which are skills, appear to shift. Skill cultivation, behaviors, ideal behaviors, we can say, are manifested on the journey to actualizing the vision. We simply let the light be as the light was, as stated in one of the translations of Genesis 1:3. And God said, "The light shall be, and the light was." That's one of my favorite translations. So we let the light be as the light was, unconditioned by appearances, unconditioned very specifically by the old man thinking, the old man beliefs. The old man thinking spawns from the old man beliefs, which are stored in the subconscious mind, which you have a choice to not identify with the old man thinking on what appears as the journey to actualizing that entrepreneurial success, whatever it may be. And I speak from experience. I built 3 successful businesses, one in IT, one in consulting, one through this YouTube channel, by applying what we're talking about here, putting off the former conversations, which is not me anyways, as I am the real self. You are the real self. I imagine you to be the real self. You are real. You are not the former self. You are not the old man. Because illusory thinking, as we discussed, is not real. It generates illusory, suffering-based experience, which are not real experiences of God. Just say temporary experiences. I trust you notice this. As you accept yourself, those temporary experiences, we could say, appear to disappear some way, somehow, to reveal the reality of God, which stated in Romans 12:2 is good, perfect, pleasing, by not conforming to the patterns of this world. So that's how we apply this, by not conforming to the patterns of this world. And by that I mean very specifically, in relation to environments, in relation to capabilities, in relation to behaviors. Anytime old man thinking appears in mind, that seems to suggest lack of fulfillment in relation to environments, for example. You put it off. You put off the former conversation. You no longer identify with that, and mind is purified, and you remain in your flow. And it appears that the environments continue to change. People appear to change. Yet you don't change because you are perfect love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. You simply accept yourself. True self-acceptance, radical self-acceptance. You simply accept yourself more on the journey. You are the real self, aren't you? You are real. You are not the old man. You are not the former self. Because as I mentioned, any illusions that seem to suggest that you are the old man appear to disappear as well. To reveal, we could say, to point to the fact that you are the real self. You are the true self, the unfettered self, the limitless self, the self beyond limitations, the self that exists now as perfect love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, which are great pointer words that point to the fact that I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled, as in I found everything that I desire. I have everything that I desire now in existence. We could say I found it in existence. The desires point to the fact that I am fulfilled. So practically speaking, what can happen, let's say, with entrepreneurs is they may engage in a conversation with a prospect. An old man thinking may suggest that if this particular prospect does the deal with you, then fulfillment. And if they don't do the deal with you, then lack of fulfillment. That's clearly conditioned consciousness. The old man is through limitation, confirmation bias, conditioning consciousness. So we release that confirmation bias. How so? By simply accepting. If the deal goes through, great. If it doesn't go through, great. It doesn't change the fact that you are fulfilled. Put off the former conversation. If they say, we will move forward with the deal, great. If they don't move forward with the deal, great. If, let's say, old man thinking suggests that, okay, if they don't move forward with the deal or they did not move forward with the deal, that means you lack fulfillment, put off that former conversation. I am fulfilled. Acknowledge that the fact that you exist is fulfillment, not for this or that reason, not because of this appearance. And the condition is released. And what appears? Well, it can appear in many different ways, not to create another confirmation bias. But some of the ways that I've seen that it appears is they may come back and do the deal with you. So let's say they didn't do the deal with you. You accept yourself as fulfilled. You took that as an opportunity, let's say, to accept yourself. They may come back and do the deal with you. I trust you've seen that. They may refer someone to you who does the deal with you. I trust you've seen that. Somebody else shows up, they do the deal with you. I trust you've seen that. Or you get an insight or perspective on optimizing an aspect of your business, and now your sales conversions go up. You get more leads in. You generate more qualified visitors. You generate more qualified leads from those visitors. You acquire clients at a higher conversion from those qualified leads. You engage in ongoing business from your existing clients, some way, somehow, in a, let's say, path of least resistance way. And why is it path of least resistance flow-based? Because all we do is put off the former conversations, which is adding unnecessary resistance as the old man is conditioning consciousness. And pure consciousness is experienced as a flow-based journey to actualizing the visions. What ends up happening then, again, from personal experience and working with thousands of entrepreneurs over the years, all of this stuff in the pyramid here shifts to reflect that vision. It shifts to reflect that vision, which is a symbol of your fulfillment. It all rearranges, we could say, in a harmonious, flow-based way to manifest it in material form as whatever the monthly income goal is, the yearly income goal, the business success, building your business up to a particular degree and then selling it, whatever it is that you desire. I trust you've noticed this as well. And we can practice this more so, which is the simple practice to put off the former conversations. You are fulfilled for no reason at all. So you don't need to say, because of this or because of that, I'm fulfilled. You are fulfilled for no reason at all. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. Release the conditions and you'll experientially. Bliss molecule is released, for example, Ananda mind while you're in flow. You'll actually experience fulfillment, practically speaking. This can sound like a wonderful theory only, yet it is experiential. This is my experience, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Speaking about emotions, emotions regulate. Clear thinking in mind, all by putting off identification to the former self, the old man, the unreal self, which is not you. You are the true self. This is how you manifest yourself. This is how you manifest yourself. And by that I mean very specifically, true self manifestation as the symbols of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So let's look at another example, skill cultivation. So let's say a person is communicating in public speaking. They may find initially the challenge to be experienced as what we can call chaotic in a way that, let's say, is generating suffering. That's okay. As I've been discussing and we've been exploring, it was also articulated really well in the book Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. There is an access point, actually there are many access points, we could say infinity access points into the flow during challenge. what he refers to as the sweet spot where challenge meets skill. And so the way we access the inherent abilities, the inherent skill, and thus manifest it as skill cultivation is by taking the opportunity during challenge, let's say, or what the old man may label as suffering, confusing the challenge to be, let's say, tormenting, even though the challenge may be actually stimulating, growth stimulating for the physical, emotional, mental aspects of human existence. By relaxing into the flow, by not identifying with the illusory thoughts, what happens is you really do relax into the flow, let's say. And emotions are regulated, clear thinking, if there is thinking, because a lot of times I find when I relax into the flow, body seems to flow naturally, everything seems to flow naturally. And if I do think, it is in harmony with my true nature, which is fulfillment. And so what happens then is skill cultivating manifests. This is how I learned how to snowboard. This is how I learned how to sell, do all the various skills. And this is how we optimally learn. This is what I teach when I teach learning, when I teach particular skills, or as I teach also how to learn, and I also teach facilitators how to teach. I talk about this and refer to this quite often. When we learn and when we teach others to learn, we do not identify with the old man thinking, shaming and condemning them, shaming and condemning ourselves. We put off those former conversations, and what happens is any kind of illusory thoughts as we facilitate that arise in mind, we release, and interestingly what happens is they relax into their flow. You relax into your flow, and skill cultivation manifests to a higher degree. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that amazing? Again, simply by putting off the former conversation, which is not you really thinking. Have you acknowledged that your true nature is fulfillment? I trust you have by now. You are fulfilled. How do you know? But be still. That experience of existence, the acknowledgement that I am beyond the thoughts, the beliefs, the appearances, is what we can experientially, as I mentioned, Anandamide is released. That's one way. We actually experientially feel fulfilled in that moment for no reason at all, by doing nothing. So the fact of existence is fulfillment. I am fulfilled. I am cannot be lacking fulfillment. How can I am be lacking fulfillment? It is only the old man that thinks that. I am fulfilled. I am everything that I desire to be. I have everything that I desire. There's no separation. At the fundamental reality from which everything springs from, there is no separation. So can I be as I am? Of course I can. By putting off the former conversation. I simply put off the former conversation and I relax into the being I am. Experientially, practically speaking, beyond theory. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You can say, I know that I am completely fulfilled in every way. I know that I am completely fulfilled in every way. I acknowledge the fact of existence as fulfillment, as there's no separation between the being I am and fulfillment. Thus I am fulfilled. Thus I am complete fulfillment, and experience my fulfillment more so each moment with increasing frequency on a continuous basis as fulfilling life experiences, fulfilling loving relationships, fulfilling harmonious experiences, which may also appear spontaneously as symbols, as gifts, as revelations of the being I am.